Hold up. I'm adding you on. I hope you. Let's see.
Can you hear
Yay!
me?
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Oh my gosh, that was so stressful for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
All right.
No worries. If for some reason like it like cuts out or does that again, we can just reschedule till like you're at home or whatever. It's totally fine. This is
I'm gonna.
what?
Okay.
It's a very informal
Okay.
situation. Can you hear me?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So fill everyone
Okay.
in a little bit of context, like around what you were looking for from this coaching, or like what's going on and how can I help you?
Well, I love how honest you are, and there's been a couple of instances where you've been super blunt to the point where it's made me really uncomfortable and made me question things that I didn't really realize that I might not have like understood I was doing wrong. And for instance, like I looked at my profile or my portfolio, and it was, I'm going to just use one of these because this one isn't sticking in. But I looked at my portfolio, and even though I just had no diversity, and it wasn't because I wasn't looking for it, it was the fact that I'm just hired for my demographic, and I wanted to brand out a lot, and it's just I realized I literally was photographing like the 30-year-old white female, and it's just I wanted to change that. And then when I read your blog about like the Black Lives Matter, and I was like, holy shit, the fact that I'm not saying something is, me being ignorant and, being compliant just by hiding in this little corner. I was just really struggling with that because I also was I am a police family, so I was just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to stay quiet. Also be a police family, but also be Black Lives Matter. I know that's two different things. It's um, what you stand for. But there's been so many times where from your blogs, I've looked at things and I'm like, I'm doing this all wrong because I'm just looking at it differently. And it's made me uncomfortable, but it's made me do.
Well, I think it's important to understand that you didn't do it wrong. You only did it to what you knew, right? Like, I think that's the important thing for people to understand is that until you know better, you can't really do better, or until you start questioning those things, you can't really change, right? You can only do what you know, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not wrong, it's just where you were. Just like me, like when I did the thing recently about my skin retouching, is like that served me to a point, but then I learned more, and that action was no longer serving where I wanted to go. So definitely have compassion for yourself that you weren't doing it wrong. Nothing like the intent obviously wasn't like, oh, I'm planning to exclude a certain group of people. Like it wasn't malicious. And more importantly, because I can't be there to do it for you, but also because you have the self-awareness to made me uncomfortable. Let's examine that instead of just like, no, that's a stupid blog post, and the way I do things is better, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I sat there literally. Yeah, I sat there after I read it, and I was like, oh gosh, I feel really, really shitty, and uncomfortable is the better word. But I was like, I need to really say something and get my feelings out there. And I literally spent the rest of the day like typing things out, and it was super therapeutic for me. But I did lose some people, and I was totally okay with that. And that's fine. I don't need them at all. Their mindset.
And that's the thing is like I always want people to understand, like, you don't have to do anything. Like you don't, but if you feel that uncomfortableness and ask yourself, okay, why does that not sit right with me, or why, you might find out that secretly you maybe wanted to go, like you wanted to say something, but then you have to start unraveling that. Whereas some people are like, they'll think about it and be like, no, you know what, the way I'm doing things is fine, and stick with it. Cool, you do that. Like, you have to figure out what is right with you, and like, is this who I as a person want to be? So like, I think it's important for people to understand is like, you don't have to be like me, but if you are using words like inclusive and empowerment for
Right.
everyone and things like that, you really have to look at, okay, am I doing justice for who I want to be or become as a business person and as a human, right? I think that's the biggest thing there.
Yes.
Yes. So have you put any like things into practice so far to kind of like, once you recognize that within yourself, and then what are some actions that you've taken since kind of having that oh fuck moment?
Well, I did model call. I was really cautious of my wording because I didn't want to say older women. I wanted to say I wanted to diversify my portfolio and to send me a private message. And I was looking to include all shapes, sizes, colors, everything, and ages that are not, what's the word that I always use?
Represented?
Sorry, I
Not
need
as
to put you.
represented?
Yes. Okay, there you go. Much better. Um, and I was still getting so many emails, which was crazy to me that it was still the 30-year-old white like mom, and I was able to get a couple in that helped diversify. I would like to do more. I wanted to do at least one or two a month. Um, because you shoot what you want to, or you show what you want to shoot. So I want to just constantly, even though I can only do 8 to 10 sessions a month, I want to push a little bit and just add 2 extra shooting for what I want to start presenting. So that's
Yeah.
the only thing that I did for that, because I didn't know how to word it or just be like, oh hey, I would like to shoot a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, I know one of the gals, Kira, was doing 40 over 40. Like she wants to shoot 40 women over 40. I was like, oh, that's an amazing way to put it. But I was like, I can't shoot 40 people. I was like, holy crap. But um, I would like to learn different ways to maybe seek out what I want without being like so just direct on what their traits are, because I'm trying to diversify mine, but in the same I don't know, it's like a
So I
really
think
hard.
that's where, yeah, so ask yourself the question, why don't you want to specifically say those things? Because that is how I do my calls, is literally like, I'm looking for people that are 60 plus. I'm looking for, or like preference will be given to Black, Indigenous, people of color. I'm looking for somebody that's a 3X or bigger. Like, I literally will be that specific because of that same thing that you're running into,
Okay.
where you have the usual people like, and they literally start their emails with, I may not be what you're looking for. And it's like, then why
Right.
are you
Yeah.
wasting my time? Like,
Yeah.
and then,
So
so
you
the
think
other,
it's okay?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You think it's okay to directly just say I'm looking for 60 plus, African American, Okay. I just feel like
Yeah, people are hesitant to use like, and that's the part that you have to, that's your uncomfortability with saying Black or like whatever, and that if that's what you're looking for, that's what you have to ask for. But specify it in a way that isn't like, the main thing is we don't want to be tokenizing people. Like literally your intent is because you want other people of that body type or skin color or age to recognize that they are worthy of being documented. It's just like they're not coming into the studio to say like, hey, like being that authentic, honest self, and be like, and I think you did I'm in your group, so, and I think you did a post about that in there where you acknowledge like, I realized about my portfolio that I don't
yeah.
have as much diversity, which is awesome, but you also have to do that outside of your group, also on like maybe your main page or Instagram account, and say, this is my
Yeah.
mission, is to empower as many people as possible, or women as possible. That means I need these specific people to come in and know that they are also worthy of documentation. And then
Okay.
list out what that
I don't
is.
word it
And
like that.
yeah, and I just did, if you go onto my main page, I call it a casting call, where I specified what I was looking for, like literally skin texture, like trans folks, like very specific, because of that, that going back and forth with people that clearly do not fit what we're looking for, but just want a free photo shoot.
Yeah, and that was the post that you saw and you're talking about. That's the when I went when you read if you read down, that's when I was as specific as I felt comfortable saying, but I guess I just need to haul in there because I literally was getting 30 plus emails of people just saying, "Oh, I might not be what you're looking." Yeah, just what you said. And I was like, okay. And I did pull two out of that, and they were amazing. They were wonderful. And I did put it on my Instagram. I'm not that good at Instagram, as I'm mostly Facebook, but I do so.
Yeah, just like wherever you usually like would market other things, like that's where like expanding the pool beyond your group is a good idea. Or even asking the people in your group, like, listen, or the people that message you and said, I would love to participate in this. If you want to take the time to respond back to them and say no, be like, you know what, you're not what I'm looking for at this time. However, do you know somebody that is, because like, if somebody's over 65, 70, 80, chances are they might have Facebook, but chances are they're not following you. So they're not going to
Right.
see that, right? So reaching out to the community that is contacting you to say, like, I would love, or even offering it. I've done this before. It's like, well, why don't you come in and bring your mom with you? And then I'll do a little shoot for you, and I'll do a little shoot for your mom, and then some of the two of you together, just so you have that awesome experience. And that would
Okay.
be like kind of a fun way. And it's like, that's what I did for a Mother's Day promotion like a year ago. It was like pay $75 and come in and play dress up with your mom. That's literally what it was, just like portraits and just like dance around. Like, how do you want to show up together today? Like, do you want to be badass or like soft and sweet or playful?
Yeah.
And that allowed me to do individuals of the moms, because it got them into the studio in a safe way, but also they appreciated having photos of themselves and their daughters, and the daughters appreciated having photos of their mom.
Yeah.
And those are still the ones they share all the time, but that's a good way to bring, like, because those are the girls reaching out to you, or the women reaching out to you, use them to bring in the older women. Like, use them to be like, bring your mom or your grandma. Like, I would love to do that. I did that with
Yeah.
a few girls. So
And I never even thought of saying that, because I did respond to everybody, just saying, I'm going to save your information. Maybe another shoot, we can do. It was kind of because I also wanted to photograph differently abled people. And I really, right now with COVID and everything, and also trying to shoot older, it's just not in the cards. So it's, that's also obviously an issue. So.
yeah, can you just start doing maybe like webcam sessions? Like, get them
I
on,
could.
just to start that like idea, and like plant that seed in people's minds that like, hey, I can't come to you right now because of XYZ, or you can't come to me, but I would love to offer this, because that is also like for you as a photographer, that's a cheaper way as well to like do a session, right? Where it'd be like, I would love to give
Yeah.
you a portrait session in your home, but through like Zoom. It's a good test
Yeah,
to the times.
I love that. You're such a genius.
No, my thing is just always like, I like problem solving. So if people are like, this is why I can't do it, well, let's think of why we can. But that's where all my ideas come from, is like, when it's like, okay, let's go a different way. What if we did this? Yeah, but I
I
think
have e-learning in Florida right now, so my kiddo. Buddy, you need to talk to your brother. Sorry.
that's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, but does that help a little bit? Like, I think just like, looking at the people that are contacting you and using them as your way to get, like, if you're responding to them anyways. I will say, for me, when I do these model calls or casting calls, whatever you want to call them, I will specify on the casting that I will only respond to those that are selected. So if you don't, and I'll respond by X date. So if you don't hear from me, that just means you weren't selected, because then that saves me time.
Okay, yeah.
But I would say, like, if you, like, some of the women messaging you, if you know them and you're like, oh yeah, you would be so fun to come in with your mom or your grandma, and I would love that opportunity, then reach out to them.
Yeah.
Individually. But ultimately, I would say you don't owe it to people that are not following the rules to respond to them. The other way, though, you can utilize that as a marketing thing is, like, say, hey, I didn't choose you, but here's 50% off your session fee, or whatever, you know, because you really are interested in doing a photo shoot. You may get something out of that. If you are taking the time to respond, you might as well try to see if that works as well. But
cool.
Yeah, awesome. I think, and encouraging maybe the people in your group to share outside of the group as well. Like, maybe you can make an incentive for them to be like, the person that can get me the first, you know, like, somebody signed up for this project that I'm working on or whatever, I'll give you X amount of credit on a thing. Like, using your pool, but letting them kind of do the work as well to spread out further than what your current network is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I feel like that might be really hard to, like, say if 100 people shared it, how would I, you know, keep track of all that? That would be,
well, it'd be the first,
super crazy.
So they share it, that's fine, but it would be like the first email that comes in, they have to specify who told them about you.
Oh, okay,
so
gotcha.
They would say, oh, I heard about this from so-and-so, book me in for X date. Awesome. Now you know to go contact so-and-so and then give them a gift card or whatever you want, you know, something cheap. But yeah. But I think, like, there is power to using the communities that we already have built, even if they don't fit the mold of what we're looking for model calls or casting calls, whatever you want to call them. They might know people that do, but never really thought about it before, right? Because maybe they have a friend that's in a wheelchair or something like that, and they haven't seen that before in your studio maybe. So they're like, oh, I would not even think that they could come in. But now that I know you're looking for that, now I can go find, now I can, like, let them know that this is a great opportunity for them. So again, like,
and then they feel like they do something.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yep.
Like, it's no, that's literally, that's like, they know the power of it. So they're like, oh my God, yeah, like, so-and-so would be great in this role. And that's usually what I would do, is, like, just be like, share this with everyone. Like, I just want people to come in, like, share this with them, because you never know who you're going to meet, right? And then they will know more people. And, like, for example, with trans folks, once you get a few trans people in, that now you're kind of in, like, learning more about the community and so on. So they'll tell their friends. Like, that's what happened for me during Pride Month. Like, I think there's this is the thing that bothers me sometimes about photographers. They're like, never shoot for free. I'm like, I shoot for free all the fucking time for the people that I know
I do too.
truly need. Yeah, because I'm like, number one, it allows me to feel my creativity, which is good, but also it allows me to expand that network that I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean? To, like, go further with my mission and stuff like that. So yeah.
And then you don't feel pressure, and you can actually let loose and try new things. And I've gotten some of the best stuff just by playing around and not having that, like, pressure on me. So
yeah, I always talk about, like, as soon as money exchanges hands, there's, like, this expectation on what the work has to look like. So then I hold back on I go to my standard editing, and I go to my standard, like, you know what I mean? I don't play near as much.
Yeah.
But if there's no money involved, then I feel like I could do, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna get fucking weird now, get excited. And it's usually better work than more consistent work that I put out with clients, if that makes sense. Like, more artistic work, not better, but just more artistic, I would say, and more mine.
Yeah, but like, from your soul kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, so I think all around, like, doing these things are really good. So it's great that you've already started thinking about, like, and putting it out there that you want to expand your portfolio and things like that. But I think the biggest thing is literally just ask exactly for what you want. And for people that are more afraid of like, oh, like how do I ask for like a plus size woman, like, ooh, because they're afraid to say that or whatever, like one of my favorite things to do is be like, hey, I just bought this outfit that is a size 3X and I need a babe to wear it. Because then it's very specific. Like somebody that's a size small is obviously not going to fit that bill. That eliminates them responding to that casting call.
Yeah.
So I will create the items that would create the set, and then, or like the outfit or whatever. So that way it helps me eliminate the people responding that just are not reading anything.
Yeah. And I feel like I know you've touched on this a ton of times because you've spoken in my group too, which is awesome, by the way. And all my
We have
girls
one
love,
tomorrow,
I
I
think I
think.
have you every month. Yes. That's why I was like kind of, my time and my days were all mixed up this week. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. Yep. But yeah, I have you once a month. My girls love it. But like in the groups, when someone posts a picture of themselves, I could not stand it when they compliment and then, diss themselves and compare. Like I cannot, like it's like my biggest pet peeve on the planet. And I wish I had like made like a badge or something that said stop, stop, stop. You can't do that like in the group at all, to retrain them to not do that. Like I wish I could be this, or I wish I could do that. If only this. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
So
it
Jess
stresses me
Hayes
out.
does a really good job of this. Yeah, Jess Hayes does a good job of this. She's a Duluth Boudoir. She calls it the no pity party rule in their group. And literally anytime they post a photo of someone, they say this is about, like, if your comment is redirecting the attention away from the person in the photo, it will be deleted. So they're just like
Ooh,
blunt about it. They're like, nope, no pity parties. And also tomorrow, for the talk that I'm doing in your group, that's part of it actually, is that like stop making it about yourself kind of idea when it's not about you, like that little bit there. So I'll emphasize that tomorrow as well.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. And people don't realize that they're doing it. It's like it's not about you right now. So
Yeah.
just say the compliment and just
and
end
and
it right
stop.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but I think that's the other thing too, is like a lot of people run their lives on default mode, and this is the way we've been taught, especially as women, to always compare. Even though we don't want to do it, it's like that is what has been ingrained in us, and if we are not taught otherwise, we won't change. So that's
Yep.
great that you're already like, how can I help shift their mindset, so that way that is not important to them. And literally it is by saying, this is just not tolerated here. If you want to do that, you could do that outside of this group, like I do with this group.
Hmm.
You can do that outside of here, but when you're under my roof, you will obey my rules, and get all parenty on them a little bit, because it is for their best interest, right? And I think if we can educate, and I'll do that tomorrow, but I think if we can educate them and ourselves on just why it's not beneficial, like I think we just do things without realizing why it's not beneficial. And then once we learn, we're like, oh, fuck, like that's not helping anybody. So what am I doing this, right? Then we can make a
Yeah.
decision about what we want to do with that action or behavior.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. Anything else I can help you out with today?
Oh, I just made some notes. We touched on the compliment with insult just now and the comparison. I want to give back more to my groups, and you're part of that by, having you come in and talk. I am really bad at going live. I get major anxiety. I need to work on that.
Oh, well, thanks
I
for
wish
coming
I could
live
just,
today.
well, it was part of it. I'm like, I feel like since it's not my group, I feel a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I had a mini anxiety attack with these little earbuds not working. But um, I feel like I get caught up in my words and I stumble a little bit. And, my group is fairly large, so I just get really, really nervous with that. And I feel like I need to go for my business live more so they can kind of learn my personality and who I am as a person. Um, so I need to work on to offer more to my group, kind of similar to like what you do. Because I'm no expert, but I am an expert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
So, but also I think because I saw you did the live where you and your, was it like your makeup artist or somebody that works for you, like when after I did my live, you guys went live the next day to kind of break down what
yes,
I talked about. Like, do you
yeah,
like that where there's two, like where you have somebody with you? Yeah,
yeah.
so absolutely
That's
you should, then you should do something like this where it's like, listen, I'll like we can just have a conversation, a live, like I'll pick one team member or one member from the group every week on Fridays at 9 p.m. or whatever, and we're just going to have a chat. So this is your opportunity to ask me anything that you want. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to make something up. I will tell you I don't know, be honest about that. But I think for women, like it's just really good to be able to share things, like just to have an opportunity to like tell a story. And I'm sure you have a large group, like every single one of those women in your group has an amazing story to tell. They just don't know it yet. So giving them the, you could call it like your Fearless Female Friday or whatever, where you interview one person from your group. And think of it like how you do a blog post where they write out their story. Go back to those blog posts that you've done and get those people to come on a year later after they've done their photo shoot and say, how has that
I'm
changed
really
your
bad at
life?
blogs too. I'm
Yeah,
so
so
bad at blogs too. But I just started doing it, and I had that one go viral. I was like, hey, it was awesome.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. So I think that's a great way to do it though, and go back and say, let's interview somebody that's had a photo shoot done a year ago, and let's see how that affected them till now. Like just to see how big of a change like photo shoots have. Because I think people are like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a one shot kind of deal and that's the end of it. But we all know that like, no, there's a trickle down effect that happens for most clients, not all,
Mhm.
but most clients actually changed in some way. And by us allowing them and the opportunity to talk about it, that's going to be good for your group as well to hear from somebody other than you, but also for your
Yeah.
client, your past client, to be like, yeah, I didn't realize how impactful that was actually until I had to think about it. Right, they'll realize that. So I think that's a really cool way, and then you'll get to like, it's like meeting your clients like not clients but like your members in person, maybe even before they've done a photo shoot.
Yeah, and that'll help me because I said I just don't like going live by myself. And it
Yeah.
was my brand ambassador who is a total fan of yours too. But
Awesome.
she kind of went through like all the things that resonated with her with your top 10 list, and
Yeah.
we talked for like 45 minutes, and to me that helped with my anxiety to go live, which if I do it that way, then that means I'll go live more often. So I could definitely
and
do that.
and I think too, like, so I've been listening to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk lately. Obviously, that's like he's my man. But anyways, but he talks a lot about like whatever you're good at, do that thing and fuck the rest. So like if your way of communicating is through writing, just write. You don't have to, and then read, like, so what I started doing for my podcast is I literally just read my blog post now. And it's like audiobook essentially for people that can't actually get online and read my words. Now I can just make it, because I can't talk to myself. Like I need an audience. So like I'm like, how can I record a podcast if it's just me? Like I have nobody to banter with or talk to, even in the comments. Like when I do those lives in groups, if there's like one person, I'm like, oh God, I'll try my best. But it's never as good as if I have like 5 people or more. Because then I know, like, then I can feed off of what they're giving me. So I totally get that anxiety around just being, you're like, I'm just talking to a wall. It's not exciting. So I need that
Yeah.
energy of other people to see, like, is this translating? Like, how's this going? And stuff like
Like, are
that.
you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise it's just me like regurgitating a bunch of words, which isn't super exciting to me. But I'm more excited when I can see other people getting excited, which might be similar for you. So I think if you see the value in going live, which it appears that you do, which is great, then yes, doing it in a way that works for you. So it's not a stressful thing, because otherwise you'll procrastinate it. right? So if you can have every Friday, have somebody that you chat with, a past client, new client, potential client, somebody that has a question, maybe a question keeps up coming quite frequently in your group, asking the last person that asked it, be like, hey, do you want to go live with me on Friday and we'll talk about this? I think it's great. Bringing in other photographers to like get their perspective, like if you're close to other photographers area or not in your area.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Just like if like you basically have to take the things that you again think about your strengths, like figure out the things that you know are strategically important, but doing it in a way that's right for you. You don't need to be a Terry, you don't need to be anything, you need to be an Ashley, and an Ashley is somebody that loves to talk with other people, because there's a connection that happens, and for you, you love to ask questions and be like, oh wow, I never thought about it that way, like you know what I mean? And that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've started to try to read, and well, I don't have time to read, but I do the audiobooks, so I'm trying to implement all that in my posts to make it not just me, spraying photos and being like, oh, look at this, babe. I want it to
Yeah.
have some context. So like while I'm on the road listening to, other audiobooks and whatnot, it's knowledge is power, I've learned. So I'm kind of trying to become a better person that way. So
No, and that's like this is literally my whole business has been that, or my whole me being on the internet is that. I'm like, oh my god, like when I was in my psychology class, I don't know if you remember that, but I'd be like, oh, I just took my class and I'm back home, so now I just gotta like get out all these thoughts. So then I would like come. I don't know if I came in here to my Babes Against Bullshit group back in the day, but I'd be like, here's all the information I learned. I don't know what it means yet, but I'm really excited, right? And just like sharing that journey of education. Yeah, exactly. And it's like I just had so much, I had to give it out to other people. And I think that's one of the cool things that I would assume if you were to do Clifton Strengths, if you haven't already, you probably have input really high because I see like you like to collect things, like your studios, like you like to like bring things in, but it's the same thing with information. You collect the information and then you like to output it. So that's like a talent that you have, is the ability to bring it in and then figure out what's necessary and then spit it back out.
I feel like I'm really bad at grammar. So like I don't, that's why I don't like to blog. And I'm like, I can talk, but like I suck at grammar.
Yeah, so I went to university to be an English major, and the whole thing that I sucked at was grammar and all that bullshit because I always write like I talk. Like I literally what I just sent in my book manuscript and they're like, there is a lot of missing like punctuation. And I'm like, yeah, but that's intentional.
It's like dot.
Yeah. Or they're like, it looks like you're yelling a lot because I'd always do capital letters and I'm like, well, in books that's not really how you do that. I'm like, well, also I am yelling a lot, but I think it's important to understand, like, when people read my writing, they usually will say, like, oh my god, I can hear you saying that, and that's because
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yep. So there's not. I think we get caught up in like this is how it has to be done, and it's like, and then we don't do it because that doesn't fit. We don't fit in that box. So I think it's important to say anything is better than nothing. Like getting anything out there is better than nothing. It doesn't have to be perfect. And acknowledge that, like talk about that. Be like, the reason why I didn't blog everything for a long time is because I have a bit of shame around my grammar or whatever. But you know what? Fuck that. It doesn't matter. My message is really important and I'm willing to overlook my grammar, and hopefully you will too, to get the message that I'm trying to put out here today.
Yeah, and I definitely, in my bio, I said I suck at grammar, and that's one of my downfalls. I tend to sometimes interrupt people. It's just because I need to get thoughts out, and it's not because I don't want to listen to you. I just got to get it out or I'll forget about it. So I definitely know what my weaknesses are and my strengths, but I need to hone in on what's stopping me, and those are, that's the grammar with the blog, my anxiety. Yeah.
But also understand that those things that you think are weaknesses are actually not weaknesses at all. Like somebody just told you that, oh, you're bad at grammar. That means like it's me being bad at math. It's like, I'm just not, like my brain just does not like analytical thinking. My brain likes creative problem solving. Like, I don't like that there's only one way to get to an answer. No, my brain can get there 1,000 different ways. Do not tell me that. So just because it doesn't fit the norm doesn't mean that you suck at it or you're bad at it. Maybe you just use a different type of grammar. Maybe your grammar is Ashley grammar. Right? Like, maybe that's the thing, and be like, this is the way I write. Get used to it. Like, who said that there has to be this here? Who says there has to be punctuation? Like, look at poetry. Poetry is literally defined by the fact that they fuck the rules, right? So I think it's important to rewrite, and this is what I'm talking about in your group tomorrow. So it's funny that we're talking about this. Is about rewriting that idea that the things that you think you're bad at are not that you're bad at them. They're just different than how you've been taught they should be. But just because you should do that doesn't mean that it's the right for you, and you can do whatever the fuck you want because you're a human.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so just say from now on,
you gotta go.
Change your bio from I suck at grammar to be like, I utilize Ashley grammar.
Okay.
Right? Because like I suck at grammar, like defeatist and like makes you feel sad, and it will. If you say I suck at this, but then you have to go do that thing, how excited do you think you will be to do that thing? No, but if you're like, I'm so excited to use Ashley grammar today to write this article, then you're like, yeah, it shifts.
Then I'll just type away. Just
be like I used to have on my website before I had blogs, which were my client stuff. But then I had musings, like where I would just like brain dump and post it. I'm like, this is my Instagram now, essentially. But it's like, this is literally what my brain is dumping out. I don't know what it means, but I feel there's something in here that y'all need to read. And that's it. And then people can take it for what it is. And if they don't like it, who cares? Your job is to simply
I think that's going to really, really help me. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Now that I changed the way I thought about it,
Yeah.
I love it.
So get excited for tomorrow's talk, because I'm going to hammer it home again. And we can actually use this as an example, like this conversation as an example tomorrow, which I think will be beneficial. But I think
and then I'll go back.
What?
Oh, sorry.
You'll go back?
It's lagging a little bit. Yeah, I'll go back after your live tomorrow in my group, and then I'll reflect on that, and then just keep going after that. So.
But it's the best way to do it. It's like, I don't know, like you've seen my lives in here. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I just want to pop on and talk to someone. I'm like, I have something to say, and I used to write a lot. That was how I would communicate, but now my communication style has shifted to speaking because it's more efficient for me than writing out a blog post. Does that make sense? And so now, your thing might be writing or speaking or like doing the interviews, but that could change too when you're like, you know what, it's more efficient for me to do it this way, or it's more exciting for me to do it this way. And understand that nothing is permanent and everything is temporary. So you can, if you don't like it, change it. You know what I mean? Like you can always try it at least. That's the biggest thing. Just try it. That's what I tell everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully that helped. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to use Ashley grammar, and I'll start writing more blogs because I'm not going to let that hold me back. And I'm definitely going to try to pull the blog, or not, the lives, and have it with somebody so I can do that more often. And then also do the modeling calls, the casting calls, and stuff like that.
I was just going to quickly just touch on, like, do you like writing? Like fuck the grammar thing, but do you like the process of writing?
I write when I'm emotionally like either upset or happy. Like I'll write in a journal, but I think I don't like writing because of that grammar issue that holds me back. Like I can't spell very well, and I'll just spell it.
Your way of getting stuff out though is like preferred method is writing it out. Yeah, so that means you do enjoy the process of writing, just not the rules of writing. Well, fuck the rule. We're in 2020 now. I think we've learned that, right? Yeah. So
that is true.
And that's the biggest thing too, is for people to understand, if you enjoy the process, like that is the most important thing. The outcomes, whatever. The process is where you need to find the joy. I've been talking about that a lot lately. But if you actually just are like, yeah, I get excitement, or like I feel liberated, or I feel freer when I write out my thoughts, then you need to be doing that. Because if you hold it in, especially if you're somebody that likes, like you say, you interrupt people, you're like, I do that. Because I'm like, oh, I have to share. I'm so excited, right? So, like, obviously there's time to do that, like to harness that a little bit in certain situations, but it means you're excited to share. And that to me is not a bad thing. That's a communication thing, right? It's just like, I just really have something to tell you, or like to go away like all the time. So just like, if you're aware of it, then you can make it a strength. Like, you decide.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
that's a really good point. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, you're very welcome. Well, thank you for getting over your anxiety, or pushing through your anxiety, not getting over it, but pushing through your anxiety to do the call today, and for persevering through the headphone situation. That was delightful.
Yes.
And but I really appreciate that. Like, I know it's not easy for people to go live and talk about the things that maybe we feel weaker at, or not as strong in. Like, it's very vulnerable to do that. So I really appreciate you coming on and saying that, and being like, this is where I don't feel super confident in, but wanting to work towards strategies and things like that to help you get there. So thank you for doing that, because chances are, if this is something you've been dealing with, there's like 9 other people in this like thing that also are, you know what I mean? Like 9 out of 10 other people are probably feeling the same way.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Perfect. Well,
Well,
enjoy
I'm
Florida.
looking forward. Yes, I'm excited to get to the beach after e-learning. So, and I will see you live tomorrow in my group, which, by the way, is awesome. I love doing it.
Thanks. Yeah, I love doing this. It's fun. All right. Perfect. I will talk to you later, my friend. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know
See ya.
I think you have. Oh, there's your eggs. Oh, shit. There. Guys. Okay, now I'm back. Oh, that was such a good call. Oh, I enjoyed that. Did you all enjoy that? I know it kept cutting out there for some stupid reason. I don't know why. Maybe that was my internet, not your internet. But that was a good one.